to our Feminist Cabaret, to our Radical Book Fair. My name is Myri, and I run Lighthouse with the most extraordinary group of people who really treat it as a labor of love. And this is something that we build alongside the bookshop and that we do alongside the unpacking of boxes and ordering of books and sort of the generic everyday life of being booksellers. And so this is the great highlight in our calendar. And so every year we are shitting bricks that it's just going to be us with this beautiful thing we built just for us. But you're here. So thank you for coming. Thank you for masking up. Some of our team are really vulnerable. I know for a lot of people, our events, which are one of the few that still have masks, like this is the chance to actually go out. So thank you for doing that for each other. It is a beautiful thing. Tonight we have two halves of the evening. In the middle, there will be an intermission when you can get some books signed and you can get a drink. You can stretch your legs. So to start our night off, we have the extraordinary and exquisite Caitlin Stobie with her explosive debut collection, which is more than just poetry. It's experiments that cross over into psych and science, and she makes tiny worlds and colorful landscapes so beautifully come to life. And so she is going to start us small and go big. Will you all welcome Caitlin to the stage?
Oh, thank you to Lighthouse for inviting me. I secretly have always wanted to be Eliza Minnelli, so it's really fun to be at a cabaret. What a great treat. And also a great treat to read from this book, which was just published last week. So it's exciting to be reading to you tonight. I want to start, before I start reading, to just explain the title a little bit, because thin slices could mean a lot of things, and it does mean a lot of things. So the title was inspired firstly by a trip to the Hunterian in Glasgow, actually, where I was taken around with some friends to the kind of collections at the back, and the curator told us about this process of thin slicing, where you take something like a fossil and you slice it very thinly to put under a microscope. That image stuck with me because it seemed like something that a poem can do as well. So that was one sense of thin slicing, and then I kind of forgot about it for a few months. And I was reading Brain Pickings, as one does, and came across thin slicing again, but from a completely different context, this time from psychology. Malcolm Gladwell writes about thin slicing in Blink, The Power of Thinking Without Thinking. And essentially, thin slicing to Gladwell is when everyone in the room will know this. It's quite an easy concept. You meet someone, and within the snap moment, something they say, the way they say it, the way they look, you form a judgment based on that. I was interested in that as well, because you might have picked up, I'm not from around these parts. I grew up in South Africa. So that's interested me. And then finally, the third sense of thin slices is really just food and eating. It's not deep. So the third, I have 3 epigraphs, and the last one is just from Eileen Miles's Chelsea Girls, and it's about a slice of cheese. So I'd like you to remember the cheese as I'm reading. Remember the cheese. This first poem I wrote back when I was a very strict vegan, and I was spending too much time reading the backs of food labels and overthinking everything that those words meant. And the more that I read the backs of those labels, the more I saw that it felt like a game. It felt like the words that were being thrown didn't really mean anything. So, and I suppose I was also thinking about game in the sense of meat and the way that we treat people. So this is called The Game. The packaging said 100% natural, genuine material, organic ingredients, locally produced. The labels read grass-fed, cage-free, not tested on, funding alternatives. The man says fresh game, you Hugh Women beauty. The board said 100% ingredients, genuine produced, organic material, locally natural. The lawyer read grass-free, cage-fed, not alternatives, funding tested on. The woman says, the bones are not so strange as the flesh. I went to a reading recently by Mary Jean Chan and Theophilus Queck, and they read the last poems that they wrote for their collections. I thought that was really interesting, signaling where you ended up, and often how that ends up being right at the start of the collection. So this poem is also on the theme of food, but it's also, like a lot of Mary Jean's poems, about mothering. The mothers we had, the mothers we wished we had, the mothers we're scared to be. And as I was writing it, I kept thinking about the work that's being done in museums to think about the generations that have come before and how we might view that. So I suppose that's an intro to the title, which is Binge Museum. All daughters are born sleek, with a map between their gums, and all mothers glean recipes from their grandmother's gardens. By the time they can read, most daughters are already visitors to the Binge Museum. They cut glass eyes on curated levels of bacon flavoring and MSG, a congenital weakness for galleries of yeast and bone, halls of corn and salt, but not fat. No, never that. It's more a craving for love, looted artifact that had never been theirs to receive. The mothers who choked down husks of love, only to spit them up again. The statues who cannot see how their grandmothers and others are children inside, hungry to be taken home. While I was writing this collection, I was also writing a PhD about representations of abortion in fiction. And I thought I was just going to be reading abortion narratives, but increasingly I found that an abortion narrative isn't just about that. A lot of the time it's about miscarriage, periods. Fun fact, most women who have abortions already have had at least one child. So it started being this small thing, but it kind of spread out. Doesn't that always happen? So I was thinking about abortions and then about periods, and then I was also talking with my friends about their periods, and they were saying, you know, oh, it must be coming soon because I'm really craving chocolate today, or God, I hope it's coming soon, more often. That was normally it. And I wondered, well, what are actually the good things? You know, what are the good things when we get to that age where you start thinking, God, I wish it would just come. So this is a sequence that I wrote about those good things, and it's called 5 Ways of Looking at a Period. 1, a ruined pool party, cat scratch in the pants, thighs tight and plastic wrapped, luxury cotton towel sex, soggy apologies like, I'm on my... 2, peaches pit flesh, cherry burst anemone, pomegranate plasma, beet cloaked clover, hibiscus nimbus. 3, brings muddy sleep, long as gum trees, quenches anxiety with slippy lip sap, approves full-bellied foods, potatoes, ginger root, pulls distractions tubers and unearths certainty, teaches how to stand being lonely. 4, when eggs crack jokes about coming first, when proteins drag blush over queenly cheeks, when lipids birth another month's dead doulas, when sickle cells group under coven moons, hello capillaries, hello again, Iron Age friends. 5, cramping colored like conception's twinge, craving the ever-ready chocolate advent, carving papayas with turmeric fingers, wishing for its mercurochrome tinge. Then, sudden puddle of, thank fuck. At the same time, as I was reading these abortion narratives. I was working as a research assistant for a project called The Risks of Childbirth in Historical Perspective. Catchy, right? I just heard the first part. I heard the risks of childbirth. I thought, great, not hearing historical perspective. And I didn't realize that the person running the project took a very Old Testament view that women should bear children in pain and they should shut up about it. So he would send me a lot of Daily Mail articles about how things were actually quite good nowadays for women, and we should probably just keep quiet. And he said, why don't you write a poem about these? So I did. I don't think he'd like it. Sorry, Adrian. So this is a poem for anyone, any person who menstruates and has ever felt anxious about it. It's called I Worry of Everything. Perhaps an ectopic growth lying prone inside 5 months. Register likely signed in absentia. The midwife, possibly a ghost, only there when eyes are closed. In the theatre wake dream, doctors discuss rugby, maybe. And what if the scream is breech, flesh hot as if tearing apart? Conceivably, neither he nor she and the surgeons will not see which sex is less cursed. Worst risk of all? To birth a perfect girl, velvet-naped lucky bean, and feel completely nothing. I'd like to close by reading 2 poems that are about South Africa and my relationship and its relationship to the UK. This first one I wrote around the first time I actually came to Edinburgh, so it's fitting. I was part of this travel bursary where we had one student from each South African university, so from all across the country. Just to give context, we have 11 official languages. So it was people from all walks of life, and we went to Cambridge, we went to Oxford, we came to Edinburgh, and we would debate with people here. This was back when Brexit was a debate. Scottish independence was a debate then too. So there was a lot of stimulating conversation, but we were also told very directly at the start of the tour, if you're gay, don't tell anyone. And I was interested in that. I was interested in the way that people from a supposedly liberal democracy, you know, we were one of the first countries to legalize same-sex marriage. We were being told this, and we were in another supposedly liberal country, and we were being told essentially, don't ask, don't tell. And all I could think of was an Afrikaans phrase, stilte is ook 'n antwoord, which means silence is also an answer. So this is called Even Birds, and it's for my friend Faith. We arrive in Cambridge after a long night's flight, 18, 20-somethings with a hangover of Africa. What really matters, the man says, is everyone's comfort. We wouldn't want anyone to be out of place. Don't ask and don't confess potential transgressions. This is a tour, after all. So I keep clear of the line, sick, tight with my truth. Faith is still too, but later that night she knocks on my door and cries for skin she's never been in. These queer constructs, towers cut on ancestors' backs. We discuss spectrums of shame. Late dawn is lilac phosphorescence crossed with migrating shadows. There's no snow, just white ash. Surely the others see. They must sense our bent. Even birds know silence is also an answer. I feel like that's a downer to end on, so I'll give you one more. And this is a love poem. And it's inspired by a word that means 2 very different things. And I think that's really all I need to say. Thank you so much for listening. It's really been a dream to read here. This poem is called Ngiyakuthanda. In Zulu, there is no difference between like and love, between I want to hold your hand and can I see your ring finger? Between wanting to know where you stand and wanting a one-night stand, between the sheets, between two lives, just one phrase makes it come together. I'm still not sure whether open interpretation makes love easier or just lost in translation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I feel from these collections and the work of the musicians we have tonight that a few of those themes, I'll take this up for a sec, a few of those themes are going to recur. With us next, we have, offering new ways of looking at the world as well, the poet, broadcaster, TEDx speaker, advocate, mentor, and the author of this beautiful and extraordinary collection. Will you put your hands together, please, for Lady Unchained?
Hello, hi. I'm so honored to be here. Firstly, can we just give a warm, a massive clap to the fact that we're all here together? Because it's been ages that I've been actually able to perform to people, like real human beings, not just faces on Zoom. Crazy. So I am Lady Unchained. I will try and explain a bit about myself before I go into these stories and poems that might make you think, whoa. I promise I am okay. I have written it. I am in therapy. Don't panic, okay? So this is my book, Behind Bars. At the age of 21, I was sent to prison. I was sent to prison because my sister was attacked in a nightclub, and I beat up one of 3 women. I didn't run because I thought that was self-defense. But that's not how it works in a court of law. So I went to prison for 2.5 years. I'd never been in trouble before, ever. The most I had been in trouble, if I say trouble, is before bike lanes. And I thought it was cool, riding my bicycle on the off the pavement. And they were like, get on the pavement. And that was it. That was the most contact I had had with police. I didn't even tell my mum. I promise, I don't even think I've ridden my bike for about 2 weeks, because I was so scared. But anyway, ended up in jail, and I obviously am going to read some, but I wanted to open up with a performance because before I had this book, I was a performance poet. So I'm just going to perform. This is Road to Victory. If you buy the book, please buy the book. And you're like, well, but she didn't say that in a performance. It's because when I perform a little bit different. So this is Road to Victory. I await sentencing, scared and confused, but there's no praying. If God loved me, then I wouldn't be in this mess, that's all I'm saying. You're female with no previous, you'll get off, you've got this, so stop fretting. I hear my friends saying. Yet my solicitor's voice rings loud. You're looking at 3 to 5, there's no doubt. So just make sure you pack a bag each time you take that stand. And still, I just can't quite understand. But the judge soon made it clear. He screamed, 2.5, take her away. Take me where I scream, but there's no sound. The water falls from my eyes, kiss my cheeks. Farewell to me trying to look hard. The life I once knew was no more. Shattered dreams of future plans all just taken in a flash. Dark shadows and angry voices in my head telling me this is the end. This is the end, so just end it. I left a piece of me on that stand. I felt her leave as I began to walk down them steps. I swear I never even looked back. See, I had to free her from this life that we was about to take because she was the me with the dreams and the ambition. She was the me who still had faith in the so-called justice system. She was the me who prayed. She was that 11-year-old girl who sang in Sunday choir. She was the me who still cared about life. And all she was going to do was hold me back with her dreams of the life that we once had. Dreams I knew were just a thing of the past. Because where I was going, dreams are for the weak. Forget love, I need respect because I ain't trying to be no one's chick. Media perception of life behind bars playing through my head. Like an episode of prison's most shocking moments, my beautiful future was no more. And so I began my life behind bars, broken and defeated with no feelings. Days are long, nights are longer, weekend bang-ups feel like a lifetime. 11-year-old me, where are you? I need you, where are you? She returned to me in the form of a prayer. Not long now, girl, just stay strong. Pray to God and I promise you a better day. Pain and tears may be felt at night, but rejoicing comes in the morning. Snap. It all of a sudden just made sense. See, this is the journey that was written for me to take, so I can teach my fellow brothers and sisters that it's not about anger, it's about peace. It's not about power, it's about grace. It's not about hatred, it's about love. These are the lessons I learned whilst in prison, so you don't have to go there to learn the same lessons. The choice is yours. I choose to be unchained. Thank you very much. Thank you. So when I was in prison, right, obviously I'm a black woman, growing up here, South London, London and that. When I went to prison, they told me they were going to deport me. And I said, where's that then? Where are you going to send me, Dad? He said, Uganda, Kampala. Isn't that where you was born? Right, Dad. So how many houses do we have down there then? Because I don't know where you're sending me. So I'm going to read you a poem because I found out it was like a slap in the face. I found out that being black, basically a crime. So this is unwritten crime. I'm shipped away, off to the land of dreams, off to be free from where all our problems were. The land where white people live. Our prayers have finally been answered. At least that's what the people we left behind would think. The ones who would only ever see me as the girl who spoke their language well for a British girl. The ones who would never know how it felt to wait for a gyro that you knew may never come. The lucky parents whose children never had to pick them up the ground because they heard fireworks and thought they were bombs. The ones who believe London is the land of dreams, I'm pretty sure they believe money grew on trees, a little shake here and a little shake there, and all your troubles can disappear. The ones too blind to see that this is where dreams are trapped, in prison cells, deportation centers and mental homes, in tower blocks and postcode wars, knife crime and gun crime here. We are the murderers and the victims, sacrificing each other for the peace of a dream. The dream of freedom promised to our ancestors is now the same one taking the lives and minds of our children. Because in this land, those dreams are only for the rich, rich and white, white is right, and being born black, well, that's just an unwritten crime. After all, this is the land where white people live. Thank you. So, I'm not gonna lie, writing this book was a bit crazy because I was like, I'm a performance poet. I like to perform. I don't really write normal. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, half of I don't know how they edited this, but they're very good, honestly. Very, very good. Because I write backwards. So even when I say I'm gonna write a poem, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna write a poem. But it's always the ending. So the end is always the beginning, and the beginning is always the end. And no matter what I do, it's just how it turns out. So this one here is called The 3 M's, also going straight into the justice system and the things that I have faced. But let's just read it for you. They may not have guns, but they still kill us in mental homes, in prisons, in our own communities. Tackled down to the ground before we can answer guilty first, until we can prove our innocence. While they justify their use of force, we're left crying out for justice. Our children are dying in the same streets built on the pain of black people. Fathers and mothers being locked in chains because of their skin tone. Families left in turmoil. Women left with leaking breasts with no baby to feed. Kids crying, hungry for their mother's love. And still, I see no changes. Just more lives taken, broken and erased. I Can't Breathe has become our national anthem, but one still falls every day. We're playing a game of dominoes that we will never win. Serve and protect, but they only serve white people, rich and white, poor and white still have a chance because, see, in front of a judge, at least they had the right skin color. What chance do we have when, suited and booted, we still can't change our skin? The color of danger, the color of poverty, the color of guilt, the color they fear is the same color that makes us fear them. Makes us bleach our skin, makes us hate the texture of our hair so we hide it under wigs. Our culture has been erased through history. They call it gentrification. I call it whitewashed, brainwashed. But they can't remove the culture from these veins because the blood that pumps through these veins has the dreams of Martin Luther King, the anger of Malcolm X, and the rhythm of Maya Angelou. So awaken the 3 M's inside you and tell them we know why the caged bird sings. And that the song it sings, as beautiful as it sounds, it's not a happy song. It's the song of pain, the song of war, the cries of our ancestors, heard afresh through the cries of our children. Thank you. So I'm like standing here going, Jesus Christ, ain't you got anything that can kind of make people smile a little bit? Like, it's a little smile or something, Brenda. Oh, Jesus Christ. Don't think I do now, I'm so sorry. Okay. Hi. So this one here, you know I can talk for the whole of South London, so how long have I got left? Okay, perfect. Do you know what then? I'm going to perform a different poem. I'm not going to perform this. It's not in the book. It didn't make it in there. There's a lot of poems that didn't make it in there. And it's so interesting. My publishers are amazing, but they're trying to protect me, you see. So I had some poems that talk about rape and all these things, and I remember they were like, these are great. But the lawyer was like, not sure about this. So they called me, and I said, well, if somebody calls up or writes a letter and says, I think she's talking about me, isn't that an admission of guilt? We should just put it out there and see who comes up. But we didn't. Rapists stay in the dark, and victims are the ones that have to hide, apparently. So anyway, I'm going to perform this poem because it's not in the book, but it's called Track Queen. And the reason I want to perform it is because obviously it's got some strong women standing on the stage. And for me, I represent women that's in prison, still in prison, people that's even come out of the system and don't even know what to say, don't know how to tell you about their conviction. But what's interesting about my prison sentence is I found women in prison because of their partner. And the one thing I kept asking him was like, oh, okay, so you got 8. How long did he get? Oh, no, he's not in jail. Oh, okay, so what? When is he going to court? No, like, he's not in jail. So you've done this together, and you got 8, and he's free. Okay, cool. So this is Track Queen. He said he's in love with that Coco, so your relationship had to be on the low. But when it came to doing time for that Coco, see, your relationship became public real quick. Because, see, he needed you to take the rap. The funny thing is, he probably would have got less than you if he could just own up to his crimes, but you was too keen to please a man who would never please you back. So after you got the 5, he promised you he'll be there till the end, and those first 3 months just flew by, because, see, he looked like he put in all the work to make sure you was nice and sweet in your new crib, prison. The problem is now he's got a new Lolo on the out, and to her, you just look like the ex who didn't have a clue. But she'll soon get the cue to put in the extra work just like you, so she can be main chick to what used to be your main squeeze. Now you're living with this pain that's got you wanting to split your wrists, got you thinking about the life you had before you went in, the men who treated you right, but you just wanted to be part of the clique. But where was that clique when a judge clicked away your life? And where was that clique when your mum was shedding tears for your lies? See, it hurts me to write these words because it makes us women look like fools. Can the D really be that good? To have you doing time fantasizing about how good it was, while your man's on it out reliving your fantasies of his new boo? See, too many girls want to be road girls, but they don't know what it means to be behind those bars, losing your identity to those walls, don't even mind it of your name when you receive post. Told when to eat, sleep, and shit. Better be ready for that. Roll check. See, you don't want to be caught with one leg up and arse out on his turn around and find Officer Smithy at your window because, see, he got front row tickets to your one-woman show. So carry on putting money and man before your life and see if they ever put you before their time. Just remember that life teaches you how to live it if you only live long enough to learn. And that's if you don't get caught up in a fate war only fueled by your greed, because the only thing you'll be learning is how to rest in peace. Or better yet, just get used to those bars. And I ain't talking about the kind of bars that I just told. Thank you very much.
This is the upside of programming, is sometimes you get to just do it for yourself. So enjoy my show. I'm having a great time. So next up, we have Manisha, and it's part of a group. She is part of a group called Women, Life, Freedom, who are, they have an Edinburgh collective, and they are part of the wider movement that is rising up and speaking out, coming from the Iranian community, coming from the extraordinarily courageous women in the Iranian community in Iran and beyond, who are saying enough is enough and are doing the most extraordinary things. So will you put your hands together for Manisha, who's going to tell you a little bit more.
زنی را می شناسم من که شوق بال و پر دارد، ولی از بس که پرشور است 200 بیم سفر دارد. زنی را می شناسم من که در یک گوشه خانه میان شستن و پختن درون آشپزخانه سرود عشق می خواند. نگاهش ساده و تنهاست، صدایش خسته و محزون، امیدش در ته فرداست. زنی را می شناسم من که می گوید پشیمان است، چرا دل را به او بسته، کجا او لایق آن است. زنی هم زیر لب گوید گریزانم از این خانه، ولی از خود چنین پرسد چه کس موهای طفلم را پس از من میزند شانه. زنی آبستن درد است، زنی نوزاد غم دارد، زنی میگرید و گوید به سینه شیر کم دارد. زنی با تار تنهایی لباس تور می بافد، زنی در کنج تاریکی نماز نور می خواند. زنی خو کرده در زنجیر، زنی مانوس با زندان، تمام سهم او این است نگاه سرد زندانبان. زنی را می شناسم من که می میرد ز یک تحقیر، ولی آواز میخواند که این است بازی تقدیر. زنی با فقر میسازد، زنی با اشک میخوابد، زنی با حسرت و حیرت گناهش را نمیداند. زنی واریس پایش را، زنی درد نهانش را ز مردم میکند مخفی که یک بار نگویندش چه بدبختی چه بدبختی. زنی را می شناسم من که شعرش بوی غم دارد، ولی زنی میخندد و گوید که دنیا پیچ و خم دارد. زنی را میشناسم من که هر شب کودکانش را به شعر و قصه میخواند، اگرچه درد جانکاهی درون سینه اش دارد. زنی میترسد از رفتن که او شمعی است در خانه، اگر بیرون رود از در چه تاریک است این خانه. زنی شرمنده از کودک کنار سفره خالی که ای طفلم بخواب امشب بخواباری. و من تکرار خواهم کرد سرود لالایی. زنی را میشناسم من که رنگ دامنش زرد است، شب و روزش شده گریه که او نازای پردرد است. زنی را میشناسم من که نای رفتنش رفته، قدمهایش همه خسته، دلش در زیر پاهایش زند فریاد که بسه. زنی را میشناسم من که با شیطان نفس خود هزاران بار جنگیده و چون فاتح شده آخر به بدنامی بدکاران تمسخروار خندیده. زنی آواز میخواند، زنی خاموش میماند، زنی حتی شبانگاهان میان کوچه میماند. زنی در کار چون مرد است، به دستش تاول درد است، سپس که درد و رنج غم دارد فراموشش شده دیگر جنینی در شکم دارد. زنی در بستر مرگ است، زنی نزدیکی مرگ است، سراغش را که میگیرد نمیدانم. شبی در بستری کوچک زنی آهسته میمیرد، زنی هم انتقامش را ز مرد هرزه میگیرد. زنی را میشناسم من. زنی را میشناسم من. زنی را میشناسم من. I know a woman. I know a woman. I know a woman. زنی را میشناسم من. زنی را میشناسم من. زنی را میشناسم من. Please, don't hit me. Please, don't. جوانه میزنم به روی زخم بر تنم، فقط به حکم بودنم که من زنم. چو هم صدا شویم و پا به پای هم رویم و دست به دست هم دهیم و از ستم رها شویم. جهان دیگری بسازیم از برابری، به همدلی و خواهری، جهان شاد و بهتری. نه سنگ و سارها، نه پای چوب دارها، نه ننگ و آرها، نه گریه های بارها. جهان دیگری بسازیم از برابری، به همدلی و خواهری، جهان شاد و بهتری.
What a note to end our first half on. I think what the Women Life Freedom movement has taught so many of us, and I think is echoed in a lot of the work we see tonight, jokes are made about, some of this shit is really hard to hear, and I'm sorry we don't have something to laugh at. And yet, these extraordinary performances and these extraordinary works, out of great pain and great hardship, comes a resilience and a power and a beauty that is the reason we are here tonight, and that we get to be together and we get to keep creating and supporting these works of art that then go out into the world and they create community, and together we make change. So thank you for being a part of this tonight. You can hear more specifically about what's happening in Iran from other speakers from the Women Life Freedom movement tomorrow at the Radical Book Fair. And of course, feminism is woven into so many, well, all of the events at the Radical Book Fair. So keep an eye out for other things to get involved in. We now have a chance to take a breath, stretch your legs, come and talk to our speakers, get a book signed, grab a drink, and then we're going to regroup back in our seats in 15 minutes. So thank you.
Yeah.
Hello. Welcome back to part 2 of our Feminist Cabaret. And we have a little bit more music. We have some stories. We have the weird and wonderful in part 2. And more poetry, of course. So to kick things off, rather, can you tell I'm quite excited? Jana Gabrielle is a French Cameroonian singer-songwriter whose EP first came out in 2015. And she is going to sing us some songs. Put your hands together for Jana.
Hello. How are you after this first half? It was pretty intense. And I was like, oh my God, my heart. So I'm going to ease you into the second half. It's going to be very gentle. After that, it's a good start. This song is called Dance With Me. It's basically about being there for each other. Come out of the shadow, show me a smile today. Don't wait till tomorrow, I may not be around tomorrow. So dance with me again. Hold me tight, I will be alright. Confide in me, I will never let you down. I'm holding you tight, you will be alright. Don't run for cover and hide away. Not today. Do you remember a beautiful day yesterday? So dance with me again. Hold me tight, I will be alright. Confide in me, I will never let you down. I'm holding you tight, you will be alright. So many questions to answer. I know I may not find the right one, but as long as you don't surrender, I will be fine, and you will be fine. So dance with me again. Hold me tight, I will be alright. Confide in me, I will never let you down. I'm holding you tight, you will be alright. Dance with me again. Hold me tight, I will be alright. Confide in me, I will never let you down. I'm holding you tight, you will be Thank you. I was a bit afraid today because one of my strings snapped today. I was like, oh my God, not today. Not today. It's really fine. This next song is called The Lake. It was inspired by an illustration from a friend of mine, and it's a woman on a boat. And at first I was inspired by, I wanted to write from the point of view of maybe the person she was leaving behind. And it was very sad. So I changed it. And I wrote from the point of view of the woman. Somehow she's going somewhere, maybe she's trying to find herself. So yeah, it's called The Lake. It's quiet outside, I'm sitting in the dark, looking at a peaceful lake. The silence heavy keeps me company, strange feeling I can't explain. I know it's much too late, but I gotta figure out this curious affair. Inside there's a part of me that I can see. Maybe I'll find it here. Maybe I'll find it here. Oh, 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 maybe I'll find it. I walk towards the shore, step into the water, and the coldness of it all seems safe. On the boat as I roll my troubled mind's at rest, now it's clear I can't escape. I know it's much too late, but I gotta figure out this curious affair. Inside there's a part of me that I can read. Maybe I'll find it here. Maybe I'll find it here. Oh, 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 maybe I'll find it here. Maybe after the rain comes the sun and it's over, the light should take over. How far away should I go to get closure? Will I ever? Oh, 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 maybe I'll find it here. Maybe I'll find it here. Maybe I'll find it here. It's quiet outside, I'm sitting in the dark. My reflection now has changed. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so now I'm going to torture my guitar a tiny bit. Yeah. I'm not too sure about that, but... Sorry. No, that's live music. But I know what I'm doing. There you go. Yeah. My favorite tuning. Oh, come on. sorry. There's something wrong. I'm so sorry. Okay. Oh. If I can play that song, I'm lucky. Okay. Okay, that will be okay. Thank you so much for your patience. This song is called Ode to Time. Yeah. Sorry, no pun intended. Yeah, it's kind of the weird relationship we have sometimes with time, actually. There's a lyric when I say, is it, are you a curse or a blessing? And this is sometimes how I feel about time passing by. I feel like this, I don't have much time to do everything that I want or to accomplish everything that I want. And yeah, it's just, it can go so slow and then so fast at the same time. And yeah, so I wrote a song about it. Okay. Like a river, you run deep undisturbed. Smoking mirror, your promises keep my trust. In you, you got me. Only you can lead. Like a whisper, a sudden hint in my ear. So I remember all of my dreams incomplete. You carry me. Only you can lead. Tick tock goes the clock from the early hours of each morning till the last one before I go to sleep. I have to make the most of it. Like a constant wanderer, I walk through life unsure. Want to achieve what I set out to, my blessing or my curse are you. Like a painter, my bruises you cover. You heal me. Only you can lead. Tick tock goes the clock from the early hours of each morning till the last one before I go to sleep. I have to make the most from the early hours of each morning till the last one before I go to sleep. From the early hours of each morning, I have to make the most of it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you to Lighthouse for inviting me to play as well. Appreciate it so much. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. Can I?
Hey. Hello. That was just extraordinary. And now we are going to return to some poetry. So our next reader, Cecilia Knapp, is a novelist and poet and one of those disgustingly successful and prolifically wonderful, talented young people that do all the cool stuff. They were the Young Poet Laureate for London, and they are the author of the brilliant Peach Pig. So next to blow you all away, will you put your hands together for Cecilia Knapp?
I used to eat KFC zingers without hating myself. Order cat litter off Amazon. Light a fig candle. The clouds are a paper mouth. Another Tesco Express. Someone else has died on Facebook. The cat licks me. Feel endorsed. Wonder if my therapist thinks I'm a brat. Imagine her telling me I'm her favorite. Get sad that cancer got Alan Rickman. Vit D spray under my tongue. Himalayan salt rock. Get drunk off my oat latte. Man on the train slams into me. Ask him to hold me till I'm gorgeous. Handle my cat's shit. Replay my own voice notes. Speculate how carpet shops still make money. Dream of dying. Watch World's Strongest Man. My father's angry prostate. The men on the train could kill me. I'm a pig. I need a pat on the back. I need a thigh gap. I use emojis to avoid conflict. Worry I'm a gentrifier. Send that gif that everyone's seen before. Someone I know has won an award. I have a memory of your love, like a lodged fishbone. Before you died, I cut your hair. Thank you. It's lovely to be here, and I'm frankly astounded by the talent on this stage and what an honor it is to be in your beautiful city. I'm going to read poems from my debut poetry collection, Peach Pig, which came out last month. I'm interested in society's message to women to shrink ourselves always, symbolically, physically, and literally. And this poem kind of speaks to that theme. Loros. I watched my mother form her new body, cheekbones becoming violent, hips clucking to meet skin. I would wash her as she used to wash me, holding a small plastic jug under the warm water and tipping it over her back, her edges broken by bubbles. That night was like any other night in the hospice, people quietly dying, except we ate ham and pineapple pizza in her bed. Watch out for the men, she said. They have the upper hand. She smelt salty, shoulders poured into a wipe-clean pillow. The next day, when the doctor said she needed to eat more, she laughed, told him she had waited forever to be this thin. I laughed with her. When I try to replay her voice, I can't. This small slice is what I have. A woman happy with her own shrinking in the last weeks of her life. Thank you. You don't have to clap between poems, because I'll just get awkward and do things like that. Being a poet means that you can invent insane scenarios through which to explore the themes that you're interested in. So obviously I'm interested in kind of shrinking ourselves as women, or those kind of things. And I'm also kind of interested in guilt and shame. I feel like I've always carried a lot of those things. So I wrote this poem where I basically imagined that all of my ex-boyfriends were having a steak together, which would be hideous. All my ex-boyfriends are having a dinner party, comparing their tight obliques, how red their meat, hat tricks for their grassroots teams, wearing expensive suits, saying they had me in a car once. I never kept my mouth shut. I always wanted to stay the night. I'm dieting again, sipping low-cal miso on a moving train, burning my hands. I smile at other joggers. I'm enjoying this. The dentist says I have yellow teeth. His hands hold my tongue. Mum said, you can do anything so long as you're wearing washing up gloves. A purple leaflet in the waiting room asks me if life has worked out A, better, B, worse, or C, the same. For £1,000, I can fix my teeth. Mum used to ballroom dance a wooden spoon, weeping with the radio. I've been keeping my fallen eyelashes in a bag. I spit pink foam into the sink, decide this week I'll only eat eggs till the days smudge. I see people eating crisps in public on a Monday like they have no guilt. Thank you. Talking of inventing insane scenarios for my poems, I'm really interested in like the wellness industry. I find it quite sinister, to be honest with you. Like, I'm sure there's good bits to it, but I sort of like, I sometimes wonder if it's like a new way to punish ourselves, but this time through healthy models and like an app that tells you when you're failing at being well. Anyway, so I invented a nefarious wellness app and wrote a poem about it. It's called Your Membership Arrives in a Peach Envelope. Keep yourself empty. Nothing more than the size of a man's fist inside you. Breakfast is snow. Lunch, a smooth boiled egg cooled to room temperature. At first, you are glorious, gross with beauty, buffed up like a bleached teaspoon. There's an app with a subscription and pastel graphics to log your weekly failures. There are gifts, a sea salt candle, a cloth doll to house your doubts. There are oaths, push notifications. If you sink a pill in yogurt, it's like you never took it. You start to hover, spectral, gliding serene for your latte. You are spun sugar when the light catches you right. Even your pussy is a tight pink lettuce. Are you sick of the sight of yourself? Something in your path? Blink again. Your neck gets longer, you are ascending. I'm a bloody marvel, you think, before you notice the puddle on the doormat, start bumping into things, leaking salty weather all over the bathroom. Are you currently present? Are you choosing the path of a victim? You stare at fast trains to keep you grounded. You can't remember when the tiredness started. At night you hear a tide slapping against a cave. Your limbs are all breath, a lilo turned over in the wind. Your fingertips fog. You find that people only have to put a gentle hand on your head, and you open your mouth right up. By now you're fully lost in the soup of it. Keep going, girl. This means it's working. Now you can bend over in the light. Now you tell him, thank you. You are small enough now to sit down on his knee. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I love telly. Who likes telly? Don't believe what they say about poets just staying up all night writing. I like to finish at 5, pour myself a drink, and watch some telly. But increasingly I do notice, because I love like an ITV drama, the plots are thin, the women are thin, and the stereotypes are vast. So I noticed that like all of the ITV dramas are basically telling me that my life is going to be so miserable from now on. Like, I'm 30 and it's all going to go downhill from here, and my husband's going to fuck another woman that's younger, and everything's going to go to shit. So I wrote a poem about sort of TV tropes, including that one. Television. The truth teller with the oxygen tube in his nose is the first one shot on the murky island. The hiss of his tank turned off. Another cover-up, another sad dad in a limp anorak with a picture of his missing girl. There's always a boy found in the woods, his distant mother advancing the plot. There's always 2 wine glasses by the sink. And the news, of course, of your own approaching misery, a pasture waiting. Very soon from now, your body will bulge like a bag of rats, your clothes drab over the strain of your soft belly stretched and lately overlooked. You thought you were different. You had dreams. You were attentive to the possibility of your own unhappiness, which rendered you immune. Sorry, but no, kid. This is what it looks like. From the vantage point of your Ford Focus, you see the blurred outline of the man you love through the curtains, the man you gave things up for. Greyer, granted, less lean, but seasoned and keen with the rush of blood to his cock. You'll see him pull off the top of the younger neighbour with the small breasts that indicate intelligence. The English rain will meet you there, your life churning out its credits. Thank you. Thanks. Oh, you're sweet. Thank you so much. So let me just check my time. Hang on. So I grew up by the sea. I grew up on the southeast coast, Brighton, if anyone knows it. And when I was writing this collection, I was trying to write a sort of homage to the sea, and I kept falling short. I couldn't do it, I think obviously because the sea refuses to be pinned down. So I wrote a series of very tiny poems, just a couple of lines each, called Seascapes, and I sort of scattered them through the collection. So I'll just read the Seascapes for you now. This is my ode to the sea. Seascape. The mist hangs its low grey breasts. A pit bull scoffs up pebbles. The man in the shrimp shack sits like a joke. How many women have run from their homes to the sea? How long will I be in the lung of this town? All my clothes are stained. A Foster's can hurls itself into the water. School kids, fingers inside each other, sub of the day, a Velcro wallet, staying up late, getting damp in their cheap polos, chatting on pebbles till the water is black. My brother talks knee-deep with the sea. I pull him out. We twitch like fish. How many times has it taken a body beneath its softness? I put my ear to the sea. Ring, ring. The sea answers. Hello, you small idiot. Just for the fun of it, I ask if I could drink my brother's ashes back. I'm going to finish on a poem that looks at grief. For me, poetry is the perfect tool through which to explore grief, because a poem is something unconcluded. I don't think a poem is something that can be pinned down, and a poem can be full of questions and gaps. It can be porous, and I think that's really beautiful. And grief is like that too. It's uncertain, unconcluded, and ever slippery and shifting. Thank you so much to Lighthouse Books for having me and letting me share a stage with so many other fantastic artists. I'll leave you with this poem. I'm shouting, "I loved your dad," at my brother's cat. I'm crying at green wallpaper, sick with the memory of your hands. When you died, though I asked you not to, I got some rest. Fair play. I ate my eggs, and the sun came out. How do you enjoy a fuck when you're sunburnt with grief? I had hoped for loss of appetite, some silver lining. I live in a flat that I can't afford. It's got big windows. They get so dirty. I don't condition my hair. You'd be disappointed at how often I let myself go. I've got your name tattooed on my finger, but it keeps falling off when I do the washing up. I've kept the cat you poured your tenderness into. I don't remember kissing you, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. Some days it's someone else's brother. You serve me in a coffee shop. You're on the mend. Pierced ears and a soft hat.
God, you're very tall. Okay, I think Kirsten's quite short too. She's next. Thank you so much for that. Fittingly, our next set is curated by Kirsten, who is the editor of Marbles magazine, which, if you don't know, is an extraordinary independent mag. We should all support tiny, micro, independent presses doing cool shit, and Marbles is one of them. And so to sort of give us a peek at her creation, I'm just going to come up and introduce a couple of speakers on the magazine.
Hey, I'm Kirsten, and I'm kind of fuming that I have to go after such an excellent performer, and I have to try and tout my silly little magazine to everybody after that. But it's actually quite good, because that first poem there was talking about wanting to be your therapist's favourite, and I think that's kind of what Marbles is for. It's for people who want to be their therapist's favourite. This is just a quick true story I wasn't going to say, but since I'm here, I tried to break up with my therapist on Tuesday, and I couldn't, because I didn't want to make her mad at me. So I'm still paying for therapy that I don't really want to have. On that note, Marbles is, as Myra's already said, this independent mental health magazine talking about mental health and mental illness, obviously, in a way that I like to think isn't sort of patronising or preachy or kind of, sugarcoating stuff, and it's kind of more irreverent and sort of raw and hopefully funny at times as well. And just thanks to Lighthouse, because they've always been like a super big supporter of Marbles. And on that note, the next issue is coming out. That's why I'm here, to promote the next issue. We had a break for like 3 years because, you know, a pandemic happened and I didn't have any money. And this is an independent press, and by independent, I mean me. I do it. And I'm a freelance writer, so it's not like magazines are hard to make. Who knew? So the next issue is coming out on the 14th of January, and it is our What Now issue, because you know, everybody's life has been changed, you know, ridiculously during this pandemic. So I thought, yeah, we'll kind of discuss what people are feeling like now, and the answer is not good. So buy the magazine and just you'll be less alone. The next issue's got some really good people in it. We've got incredible Scottish rapper Bems. Managed to talk to him, and that was insane. We've got Carrie Marshall, whose memoir, a kind of a trans euphoria memoir, is coming out on the 21st of this month, I think. And we also have the two people that you're really here. I'm nobody. You're really here for these people. We've got Eris Young, who I think is going to tell what a gay vampire story. Is that what we're getting? And then Arusa Qureshi, who's going to be reading from her book, Flip the Script. And I believe you can buy everybody's books at the back as well. So please do that. Please come to our launch party at Lighthouse on the 14th of January. But for just now, we're going to have first Eris and then Arusa. So that's who's here. Thank you.
Even shorter than Mari and Kirsten. No, I broke it. No, this is fine. Hi, everybody. I can't see anything. This is great. So I'm going to bring the mood right up and read a horror story. So this is just a quick one for you tonight. Just an excerpt from my story, Idomenea, which was published in Pseudopod magazine. Well, it's a podcast magazine, so it's in audio and text format. In October it was published. The whole ride back to the village, I hold you steady in the bed of the pickup, praying the straps hold, the wood isn't rotted, that you won't be tumbled into dust before I even get you out. Every dip, every hill crested, my heart jumps into my mouth. Sweating, I look eastward, watching for light creeping back into the sky. It's morning by the time I get you back and into the house, relief of a cool entryway, of knowing you're safe in the garage below the tiles under my feet. Birdsong comes in through an open window somewhere. I wash the dust off my skin and it pools, red, around the drain. I crawl into my sleeping bag for a few hours, then sit on the balcony to watch the sun move. It dips behind the ridge to the west, but I wait, chewing my cuticles for true sunset. When it is well past the horizon, when it is safe, I go downstairs. Now that I have you, I don't feel rushed. The house, paid up for a month, has olive groves all around. It sits in a construction site the builders paid to go away. In the village near the dig site, they are used to archaeologists, to not asking questions when something needs to disappear. This is not even the first time Christos has been asked to drive to the site after dark. I will find out later that the fee he charged me is a standard one. The wood is rotted on top. Some water has pooled on it at some point in the last 2,000 years. It splinters blackly as I pry the lid open, heart pounding. Your mask is delicate, rumpled. I hold it under the bare bulb to see the inscriptions, and it nearly floats out of my hands. Later, I will look again, trying to find the ghost of your features there. But the design is too stylized. It might as well be my own face beaten into the metal. I take a photo with flash and hear a rustle, no louder than a scrap of paper falling to the floor. We are the only ones here, so I know it is you. The idea that you might be so keen to meet me makes me want to cry. I've been putting off looking at you. Don't think it's because I'm afraid to see your face. It's been 10 years since I found out about you, 6 since I started planning. I knew from the first second what I would find in your sarcophagus. You are beautiful, the fruit of so much labor I can finally taste. I lean over to kiss you on what remains of your teeth, careful not to disturb your jaw. You kick or twitch again. I lick your dust off my lips and whisper, Idomenea. You don't move, but I feel you respond to your name, and suddenly I understand. You have been waiting for me much longer than I've been waiting for you. So I don't flinch or hesitate at all. Are you proud of me? The first few drops fall onto your face, sending up little puffs of brown dust. But then they start to absorb. I try and get as many as I can into your mouth until they start leaking out again through a hole in your jaw or neck. I grow dizzy. We are both shaking like leaves. I can still hear you rustling as I climb the stairs into the house, lock the door behind me. You drink from me every night, like a baby bird, a calf. Your fingers grow softer, your grip stronger. Your mouth bruises the skin of my inner arm. It hurts. I know it hurts, my love. Your regrowing muscle, bright new teeth burrowing their way out of your skull. Your crushed pelvis reassembling itself. I'm sharing the pain with you, savoring it as you savor me. I'm hungry all the time, too, as if I was nursing you or growing you in my womb. I eat peanut butter from the jar, handfuls of fried whitebait, meat, rare and red. I take iron supplements and still wake up each evening ready to go to your side, dizzy. But you will take much, much more from me before this is all done. Thank you. And if you want to hear the rest of the story, you can read it on pseudopod.org, pseudopod.org. And thank you so much to Kirsten and Marbles and Mari and Lighthouse and all of you. Thank you. Here's Arissa.
Hi everyone, hope you're all doing good. Thank you so much to Mary and Lighthouse for having us, and Eris for that brilliant story. I'm definitely buying your stuff straight after this. But I'm going to buy your stuff anyway. So I was totally honored when Kirsten asked me to take part in this tonight. Firstly, because it's Kirsten, and she's someone that I respect massively, obviously. But also because the Radical Book Fair holds quite a special place in my heart, because this time last year, literally a year ago tomorrow, the lovely folks at Lighthouse helped me launch my book, Flip the Script. Woo! And it was a joint launch with the incredible writer Katie Go, who is also launching her book, The End, which is also brilliant. Please buy it. And basically we interviewed each other, and it was just really joyful, and it was a really supportive event. And yeah, it feels really special to be back here. And in preparation for this event tonight, I guess I've been reflecting a lot on the past year and on everything that's happened with the book, but also in my professional life, my personal life, in the wider world. And there's been a lot of crap for absolutely all of us. But in amongst all the crap, there's been certain things that have made me really happy. And one of those is how much it feels like all the women around me are absolutely killing it in everything they're doing, be that work-related or more personal. And don't get me wrong, I know that we're all collectively struggling. That's clear. But when I think about my pals and I think about everything that we've achieved in the past year, I feel really full of pride. There are some that have hit career milestones and some that are pursuing really interesting passions, and others that have really bravely left toxic situations or grown whole humans inside of them. And the reason I'm even mentioning this is that originally I was going to read a part of Flip the Script, which is about Cookie Crew, one of the first female rap groups in the UK. And they're really, really important to me. And interviewing them for this book was probably one of the highlights of it. And they're just lovely, lovely people. But they didn't have the easiest time when they were starting out, and being women in a male-dominated arena. But what they accomplished was just unbelievable, despite the odds being against them. And over the past year, I guess I've been trying to tap into that a little bit, that sense of resolve and determination. And I definitely see it in the women around me. I see it here at the Radical Book Fair. But instead of reading the chapter about Cookie Crew, you can read my book to find out more about them if you're interested. I'm going to read you the conclusion because it kind of sums up some of the things I've been thinking about, and maybe acts as a bit of a kind of provocation for the road ahead. And I just thought it was nice since a year ago I read the introduction, so let's do the conclusion. So the conclusion is called The Women to Whom I Owe the World. As I type, Little Sims is preparing for the release of her 4th studio album, Sometimes I Might Be Introvert. Predictably, it's already being hyped as one of the potential albums of the year. I was right, by the way. I predicted she was going to win the Mercury right then and there. Sorry. Even though only 4 tracks have been unveiled so far. Women has been the soundtrack of the later stages of Flip the Script, as Sims shouts out women from all over the world, while singer Cleo Soul provides a soaring, empowering hook. It's a tribute to the strength and beauty of women everywhere, and its lyrics and rich soundscape have been reverberating around my brain as a constant since its release. Perhaps because this book is my own tribute to women just like Little Sims and those that came before her. Going into this process, I knew that I would find myself frustrated, both by the general lack of emphasis on women in hip-hop literature and by the accounts of the women interviewed, who deserve so much more praise for their contributions. Writing this book has proven to me what I'd always known. Women have been at the very heart of hip-hop since its inception and are the future of the genre too, despite attempts to erase and diminish their work over the years. But it has also given me a whole new appreciation of hip-hop and its power to articulate the experiences of predominantly Black youth, even in highly localized and regional settings away from major cities. The way hip-hop has evolved from its roots in the Bronx to London, then regions like Manchester, Birmingham in the north of England, to Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland and beyond, highlights its power as an art form and as an expression of marginalized experience. I'm as fascinated by it as I am appreciative of its existence, and I'm excited to continually find new ways to immerse myself in all aspects of the culture. As we emerge from a year of closures, cancellations, and collective pauses in the music industry, there's plenty of talk of how we build back so that more artists are supported and that the barriers to entry aren't so high. A major element of this is ensuring that those women and marginalized genders, particularly those of color, are encouraged and invited into traditionally male-dominated spaces in the music industry so that the entire landscape can evolve. I wax lyrical about why I think women are the future of hip-hop in the UK, but there is undoubtedly still work needed by the wider industry, not only in backing female talent, but also in taking hip-hop more seriously as a major UK genre and cultural behemoth. I asked everyone I spoke to in Flip the Script about what they felt they needed to change to move the genre further, and also to encourage and support more female MCs. Here's a snippet of what they said, and perhaps a manifesto of action for the future of a thriving scene. So, 1, Give young women a more significant radio platform. Radio play is still a big income stream for artists. 2, more spaces for women to work uninterrupted, and funding and support to facilitate this so they can invest in their own skills. 3, managers and labels truly get behind the women they represent so they feel adequately championed. 4, more community spaces and access to recording studios for women, perhaps financially supported by radio stations and labels. 5, be intentional about bringing women into the fold. Create safe spaces for one another. 6, encourage young women to study music business. The more they have good ideas and experience, the more they could potentially help other emerging artists. 7, more collaboration and less competition. When women work together, there's a proven impact and power in their output. It's about getting together and helping each other out, not tearing anyone down. 8, more women are needed in gatekeeping roles and behind the scenes. Trustees, chairs of boards, DJs on national radio, videographers, and more. 9, recognize that there's not one way to be a woman. There are so many different representations out there and people not being represented. It's time to bring the voices to the table. 10, push and believe in what women have to say in these spaces and set an example with not only words but actions too. And 11, hold the door open for each other. There is no magic wand solution that will fix all of the music industry's woes when it comes to representation, misogyny, and historical toxicity. But as the lights once again come on, now is the time to take action instead of merely speaking about it. That means putting real time, money, and resources into championing underrepresented voices in genres like hip-hop, who are at the forefront in terms of their talent and innovation. I've always felt connected to hip-hop, to its defiance, its raw emotion, and its poetry. But it's to the women, particularly Black women, who have battled stereotypes and gendered social expectations that I owe the most. To Queen Latifah and Moni Love for being those women on the TV that I respected way back when. To Cookie Crew for always leading by example at home and abroad. To Miss Dynamite and Speech to Bell for doing their own thing and proving the naysayers wrong. And to Little Sims for carrying the torch with such soul-bearing grace, talent, and extraordinary swagger. Flip the Script is my tribute to those who have crafted the safe haven to which I visit often, and a safe haven to which I hope you may venture into too. This is my tribute to them and to the women who are still to take up their space in the genre. To those women, I say, remember the pioneers, but take the scepter and own your voice. It is the most powerful tool of all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Arisha. I feel like a lot of that could apply to just about every industry. Publishing and books certainly could take a leaf out of that book. Thank you for that. I am thrilled that we are ending the night with the formidable, epically brilliant Kirsty Law, who is a badass and also one of those women in music who is... And the arts in general in Scotland always seems to be reaching out a hand to other people, who's incredibly generous in programming and in sort of making sure that people get included. Just so thrilled you're here. So will you put your hands together for the folk musician, Kirsty Law.
Hello. What a fucking honor to be here on this lineup. Oh my goodness. Okay. So as Mary said, I'm a folk musician, despite appearances. And yeah, it's interesting working with traditional folk songs when your main passions are the issues and subject that come up right now. Sometimes it turns out that a lot of the subjects have been there for quite some time. And this song is one of those examples. This is a really old ballad. It's called The Fair Fleur of Northumberland. And in this Scots ballad, there's a young 16-year-old girl who is the daughter of the provost in Northumberland. And her father has a Scots soldier in his prison. And this soldier is wily. He decides to woo this young daughter and convince her to come to the jail, and he will flirt with her and convinces her to steal her father's keys and her father's horses and let him out. And for this, he will take her back to Scotland and he will make her his wife. Funnily enough, as soon as they get over the border, he changes his tune. This is a song about the shaming of female sexual empowerment, and its refrain in every verse is, "Oh, but your love, it was easy won." When she eventually returns home, she gets two quite different reactions from her father and from her mother. And you'll hear what they are at the end of the song. I'm going to alter that. There we go. It'll just be a bit better. Promise. Oh, a provost daughter was walking her lane, and but her love was easy won, and she spied a Scots prisoner a magging his mane, and she was the fair fleur of Northumberland. He said, "Oh, gin a lassie would borrow a key, and gin her love was easy won, I would make her a lady o' highest degree, gin she'd listen me to my presence sae strong." Say it's done, she's done tae her father's bed stocks, and but her love was easy won, and she's stolen the best key there for money's the braid lock, for to loosen her out, oh, his presence sae strong. And it's done, she's done tae her father's get stable, and but her love was easy won, and she stolen the best horse that was baith fleet and able, for to carry them baith to bonny Scotland. But as they were riding our young Scots moors, he cried, "Oh, but your love was easy won. Get down fae my horse, you're a brazen-faced hoor, and you know the fair fleur of Northumberland." But I have a wife in my own country, and but your love was easy won, and I canna do naething wi' a lassie like ye. I'll hate to game to Northumberland. kitchen I surely can be. But my love, I was the easy one. And I'll serve your good lady most reverently, for I can't give back to my family. Cook in my kitchen, you can't will be. But your love was the easy one. My lady, she will need servants like ye. I'll hate to game to Northumberland. But Leith was he, the lassie to time. And but your love was the easy one. So he's hired an old horse, and he's feeding old man, for to carry her home to Northumberland. When she's coming, her father dead friend, saying, but your love was the easy one. Didn't know to gang with a Scotsman when you're barely 16, and you the fair flood of Northumberland. When she's coming, her mother dead smile, saying, but your love was the easy one. But you know the first lass that yon Scots have beguiled, and you're welcome back home to Northumberland. For you winna want bread, you winna want wine, and but your love was the easy one. You winna want silver for to buy a man way, and you're the fair flood of Northumberland. You're welcome back home to Northumberland. Thank you. Okay, so this next song's one of my own. It's called. So this next one is about it's about bodily autonomy and the sly, smiling people that try to take it from us. So yeah, this is called The Roar. marching through the flood. Down, 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 daddy, down. Eyes in sky and boots in mud. Down, down, down. Sun is rising now the brae. Down, 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 daddy, down. They're marching through the break o' day. Down, down, down. The quiet, the calm, the morning gleams, the moment still. Here comes the bursting o' the dam, like the lion does not roar the kill. The orders come for a up high, up, down, 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 daddy, down. Sup and fray a cellar cup. Down, down, down. Crowing high as on a rook. Down, 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 daddy, down. Never minding for to look. Down, down, down. The quiet, the calm, the morning gleams, the moment still. Here comes the bursting o' the dam. The lion does not roar the kill. To be told that you've got nothing. Down, 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 daddy, down. But there's no time I can't sing. Down, down, down. I marshal everything I've got. Down, 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 daddy, down. Hot and fast, feeding not. Down, down, and down. Hot and fast, and feeding not. Down, down, and down. This is based on an old song that was around in Elizabethan times. Shakespeare referenced it in 2 of his plays, I think, including The Rape of Lucretia. It's very loosely based on the song. It's a song that also worked its way into the Scottish Traveller community, and that's where I heard it, sung by Jeannie Robertson. A song called Go Away From My Window. And I extemporized on it a little. It's called Strength in a Whisper. Strength in a whisper, or the strength in an arm. The apple now tastes rotten, and the leaves are on the ground. the bird still sings, the bee still stings. Autumn turns to winter, turns to spring, but I'll be heard. Oh, to fall for someone who could hold you, but whose hands were too rough for the heart to take what wasn't theirs to take. This was a deal you did not make. You were not heard. And did you whisper when he listened? Go, go away. At your window, did he listen? Go, go away. When the warning bell rang clear, when no one else could hear, did he listen? So take yourself into the midnight, go, go away. Look for your shadow in the moonlight, go, go away. Because the devil's in the man that will not understand that he cannot enter in. And now it's time for kinder hearts to come and strengthen up this whisper to a song to take down kings. It's gonna make the mountains ring, because the devil's in the man that will not understand that he cannot enter in. Strength in a whisper, or the strength in an arm. The apple now tastes rotten, and the leaves are on the ground. The bird still sings, the bee still stings. Autumn turns to winter, turns to spring, but I'll be heard. Thank you. I'm going to leave you with one more now. Before I do, thank you so much to Mary and to Lighthouse Books and the Radical Book Fair for having me. Thank you all for being such a lovely audience, and thank you to all of the amazing performers that we've had so far. I'm just so excited to be in amongst all of your good vibes. And I'm going to finish off with a song that's unaccompanied, and it's again, it's written in Scots. And with this song, I just say that sometimes the most radical thing you can do is to live as yourself. And this song is called Speaking in Our Own Tongues, or Speaking in Our Own Tongues. Taken in another and the lights of the night, dancing and drinking tween pub and dive. The glimmering, glamoury, rain shimmering road, e'en a flashing in the summertime gloam, charged and alive with friendship kind, we were speaking in our own tongues. Taking in another to wine never be telling where the time it's again. Whisperings, mutterings, sing me a song under your breath with the palm of your hand. We were sound in the silence, white in the dark. We were speaking in our own tongues, moving, shifting, carving our way on a map with new lines and old lines frayed at the seams. Turn, translate, heart out our hands, ken the love of one another that's living in the loto, speaking in their own tongue. Thank you.
And that, my friends, is it for tonight. We have a whole weekend of Radical Book Fair that you can come and be radical in. I hope that you've had a really good time. Can we hear it one last time for all of our amazing artists? Thank you. Do come find them, check out their bios on the website, support them, go and see them where they go out and do things. I hope that you have seen in this room, you are among your people. I hope you find new people here, and I hope you take all these good vibes out into the world. But for now, that is it. May there be light so you can find your way. Ah, there we go.